Hello Ali Pallies and welcome back to my channel. I went out this morning to a drugstore. If anyone wants to see the to-do I had, it's on my Instagram feed. I had a bit of a set to because basically the cosmetics and the perfume were in the inaccessible part of the shop. Really terrible. Boots are awful. So basically the whole shop, apart from the cosmetics and the perfume, were in the accessible part of the shop which you could access with a lift, but the bit where you couldn't access with a lift was where the cosmetics were. Anyway, I managed to get around that, and watch my Instagram and I will explain more, or I'll tell you on my live tomorrow. So I got a couple of things. Basically, I got two foundations. This one because I've been wanting to try it, which is Bourjois Healthy Mix, which I'm going to try. I might do that on my live tomorrow. But I wanted to do this one because I had a request from Mandy Rose. So big shout out to Mandy Rose for CYO, which I'd never heard of before. So I picked up CYO. And I'm going to try that. I hope this colour, this was the darkest one they had. And the others looked way too fair. So this is in shade 110. And I also got a primer, which I thought I like the look of. It's a glowy primer, but it's a peach colour. So I thought that might help to neutralise some of my pigmentation and give me a bit of a glow. I'm obviously trying quite a few new products here. So if you've tuned in for a specific product, I will be putting a timestamp in the pinned comment underneath after I upload this video, so that you can go to which ones that you want to look at. I'm going to use that today as well and see what that looks like underneath it. Because I think the CYO is quite matte, but it looks like it's quite good coverage as well. So I'm just going to take all this packaging off because I've just realised it's sellotaped up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've managed to open the packaging. So this is Bourjois Healthy Mix Glow Primer, and it's apricot. And what it says is it hydrates and gives an apricot healthy glow effect to the skin for a radiant boosted complexion. And I'm just trying to look, the ingredients are very, very small. Sorbitol glucoside, so there is vitamin C in here, and that's about all I can make out because the writing is so tiny. Anyway, so I'm just going to put, now you can put this on as a primer, or you can use it over foundation to give you a bit of a glow. So here goes. Now they do this in a pink as well, but I thought because it's got that peachy tone, it might be good at cancelling out some of my hyperpigmentation and giving me a bit of a glow. And it smells quite nice. It smells like vitamin C a bit. Yeah. So that's definitely warmed up my complexion a bit. And I think my lips looking very dry, so I'm just going to get my Lana Lips Rose Gold and put that on while I'm putting my makeup on. Okay, so my Lana Lips Rose Gold, which I am loving at the moment. Lovely pigment, and it moistens your lips. You can get this in plain if you want, but I just think it's lovely to pop on and give yourself some pigment too. Okay, so let's go in with this CYO Long Lasting Foundation. Now what it says is always flawless, never filtered. Shake, dot on cheeks, nose and chin, and blend using fingers, brush or sponge. Ingredients in here. It's got dimethicone in it, which is kind of a silicone-based foundation. As I said, it's got vitamin E, and that's about all I can make out in here, but some good ingredients, some good smoothing ingredients. So I'm just putting a sort of pump and a half on the back of my hand, and as I said, this is in shade 110. I've got the Laura Mercier sponge. Let's try putting it on with that. Now this was the darkest shade, and actually it's not a bad match for me, and it's not too yellow. Perhaps a little bit on the pale side, but not too much. I'm liking the look of this. I did try it out on the back of my hand, and I was quite impressed. So thank you, Mandy, because I'd not heard of this brand. Very nice coverage. Very nice indeed. The good thing about drugstore foundations is they actually don't do that many olive toned ones, which you may think is not a good thing, but sometimes I think I go too olive. So for me, I think it's good because it forces me to try something that's not as olive. Just to clarify, there are quite a few yellow undertoned foundations available in this range. It's just that there weren't that many available in Boots where I went to get the foundation. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's more about stock rather than the company's availability. I'm liking the look of that. I need a little bit more for my forehead. I'm very impressed in the way that that's covered my hyperpigmentation. Very, very impressed. And yet it still looks glowy. Now, I'm just, for the sake of seeing how it builds up, I'm just going to put a little bit more over where that dark spot is on my head. Dark spot is. And a bit more around my nose. I like that. Thank you, Mandy. Okay, I'm now going to get some powder. Okay, I've got my powder. Now, obviously, I need to put on some concealer first. So I'm going to use the Estée Lauder Double Wear Instant Fix Concealer. I'll put on the serum first. And I'll just dot that in with my fingers. I'm so impressed by this serum because it just doesn't disturb the foundation. So if you put it over foundation, provided you dab it and don't move it too much, it just doesn't seem to disturb it. And yet it gives you moisture. You see that? And then I will put on some concealer. And I don't think I need too much because that foundation has given me very good coverage. I think I'll just stop at that for now. Nose and on that. Okay, I'm very pleasantly surprised by this. foundation. I think it's a very good foundation. So now I'm going to go in with Charlotte's Magic Powder. Now, I did have a question about foundation that gets oily around the nose. This happens to me all the time. This was from Thorndike. And how to kind of prevent that. So I tend to get an oily T-zone around here. And it starts to get slidey. So in order to prevent that, you take your loose setting powder and take either a powder puff or a sponge like this, and you dip it in and you're going to bake just those areas, right? And what you do is you're pressing it into the skin. Now you don't want to do this all over because this will really mattify those areas, but just where you get the oiliness. And obviously I've got glasses that sit just in that area as well. So I'm just going down the centre of my face in that oily T-zone area and a little bit around this area here. And I'm going to leave that for a minute. And then I'm going to use the rest of the powder in here and swipe that on with a brush. Just going round those other areas very lightly. And obviously I haven't done my under eyes. Silly me, I should have done that first. But never mind. Okay, I've just done under my eyes. And I'm just going to set that concealer on my eyelids. Now, if you watched my video yesterday, I told you that I was very impressed by the Bourjois eyeshadow liquid. And I said I wanted to try rose gold. And they had the rose gold in today. So I picked up a rose gold to try it. I was very, very impressed with the wear. It didn't move. It didn't crease at all. Really, really long wearing. Especially if you got hooded lids. It just didn't have any of that creasing whatsoever. So this shade is called... It's not called rose gold, but it is a rose gold. But it is called... Where's the name? I found it. It's called Eau de Roses. Okay, and I'm going to put this on my eyelids. And as you can see, I haven't swiped that powder off yet. I'm letting it rest for a minute. I'm letting it bake. It's quite sheer, but it is buildable, this eyeshadow. And it is so long lasting. I think if you got something that's quite thick and pigmented, it probably wouldn't last as long. So the way to get around it is to just let this dry down and then put a second layer on. And it doesn't take long to dry. I'm going to go over this side again. Now this, to me, after you've done the second layer, is not much different to Charlotte Tilbury's Rose Gold. Now what's happening there? Is that the concealer underneath? Looks like something's breaking up. Maybe I didn't leave it to dry long enough. So I'm going to just leave that alone for a minute. And let this one dry down. And I will take, while it's drying down, I'm going to take this off with my brush. So I'm just swiping it off. You can go in with another powder, like the Airbrush Flawless Finish, and put that on the brush and use that to brush it off. But what you will see is it will look quite a bit highlighted down the middle and a lot more matte. But don't worry, we can spray it if need be. But that is just going to ensure that that lasts longer without becoming oily. Now, let's see what's going on here. Let's try and go over this side now. It may be because I put concealer underneath and powder, because it started to kind of, can you see it started to move a little bit? Or it may just be that I didn't let it dry for long enough. That's weird. It's pulling off the concealer underneath, I think. Can you see? Now let me go back in with this one. And what I'm going to do is what I did yesterday, which is to just put that layer over the top and leave it. That's a shame because the other one didn't do that. Sometimes it's a case with lighter pigments. They're just not as stable. And then I'm going to take some of it and put it under my eyes as well. And you could actually get away with putting this in here. Now I'm going to let that dry, and I might put something in the crease, but I don't want to start moving it around for a moment. But next I'm going to go in and do my brows. Now I did get another shade, a couple of shades in the Anastasia Dip Brow, because I know I'm going to use them. They're going to be my everyday go-to. And I've tried another colour which I think is not as severe. I'm going to show you those colours. Okay, I also got a chocolate shade because I do sometimes make up people in my family, and I want to make sure that I've got all the shades covered. So I'll show you the one that I got first. So this one is Ebony, and I'm just going to swatch a little bit on my hand so you can see the colour. So that's quite dark, as you can see. So that's Ebony. Went for Ash Brown, which is a bit more, it's cool toned but grey. I'll show you what that looks like on in a minute. And then I've got Chocolate, which is warmer brown, which I can mix in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Ash Brown here, and I'm going the Ash Brown here, and I'm going to put the Chocolate here. So I'm going to use these two colours and completely miss out the Ebony today. Now this is probably going to warm up my shade because my brows tend to be quite cool toned. But then I have got warmer highlights, so it won't look out of place. So I think with this, the real trick is about getting the right colour. And I think possibly going a shade down, because it thickens your brows so well. If you don't want it to look too severe, is to go for a shade down to the one that you normally get. Now the shade down for the one that I would normally get is this one, which is the Ash Brown, and I'm just going to use that and start merging that one into the end here. And this is more like, I think, closer to my brow colour. But I'm kind of merging them together in the middle. You see that? I might put a little bit over here as well, just so it doesn't look too severe, the difference. And I'll let that dry down. I'm going to do the other side. Okay, this one needs to dry down a bit more, otherwise I'm going to make a mess. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, that hopefully should have dried down a bit more by now. You know the saying that their sisters are not twins? I'm sure mine are stepsisters. Okay, now I'm going to clean up the sides and go in with Charlotte Tilbury Retouch as I did yesterday, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this eyeshadow is lovely, but I want to take away from the look of the hood. So I've got shimmer at the moment right on the hood, which is making it appear more defined. So I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury palette, the new Icon palette, and I'm going to go in with the Day Look, which is a rose gold, as you know, and I'm going to go in with this one, and I'm going to just nestle some of that into the crease and into the corner. And then I'm going to take a smudge brush and I'm going to put a little bit underneath the eye. And I'm just going to intensify that a little bit more with the smudge brush, just in that corner there. Okay, and then with the same smudge brush cleaned off, I'm going to take the prime shade of the Day Eye and use that to highlight under my brow. And I'll put a little bit over what I've done. There. Okay, and then I'm going to take a liner brush and line my eyes with the black shadow in the Icon palette. Okay, now what I'm going to do actually, because I want it darker in the corner, I'm going to take the smudge brush again and I'm going to take a bit of the black and I'm going to just smudge that in the corner over that, just right there. But because I'm using a smudge brush, it won't be too black. It's just going to intensify that colour. Right, I'll put my mascara on and I shall be right back. Okay, I'm going to use some Aqua Velvet in my lower waterline today for a change. Instead of what I would normally do is a nude colour, one of my faux whites. And then I'm going to get some blush and some highlight. Okay, I'm also going to use that bronzer that I used yesterday, which is called Sunshine in a Compact by It Cosmetics. And this is what it looks like. It's going to last you forever. There's so much in this. But it just warms up your complexion. I don't really want a heavily contoured look today. Just a soft look. So I'm not going to go in for a lot of contouring. I'll just put a little bit around each side of my nose. And then I'm going to use Charlotte's Cheek to Cheek in Pillow Talk. And then pop. And then I'm going to use the palette, the Rose Gold, the Bar of Gold palette. Talking of forgotten loves. And I'm going to go in with the Rose Gold, of course, which is in the middle of this palette. This foundation feels quite matte to touch, and yet it doesn't look too matte. It obviously does down the middle because I've put that extra powder there, so I'm counteracting it with a little bit. I think I went a bit over the top with my middle highlighter yesterday, but just a little bit there of that. I'm going to go over this as well. And so that's the highlighter done. And then last but not least is the lips. Now, obviously, I've got rose gold on my lips and it looks quite nice. So whatever I put on, I'm going to put over this. And actually, for a change, instead of Charlotte Tilbury, I think I'm going to use Daniel Sandler's Pucker. So I'll just get that and I'll be right back. Okay, this is Pucker by Daniel Sandler. I love this lipstick. Oh, and doesn't it go beautifully over that lip gloss? The Lana Lips. And I don't think I'm going to bother lining it either. Now, one last spray. And I'll take the hairband down. Okay, so that's me sprayed. I'm going to take my hair down. I love this foundation. I think it's a very good foundation. And I was particularly impressed by the fact I'm going to have to do a bit more than just zhuzh my hair up. So sorry about that, guys. But it needs a wash, really. But it really covered my pigmentation really, really well without looking cakey. So I am very impressed. This is £7.99 drugstore. Let me just zoom in on this and I will do a check-in. I'll do a check-in so that you can see the foundation and you can also see whether this eyeshadow holds up as well as the one did yesterday, which was very good. I can't see any pigmentation peeping through at all. So thank you for the recommendation. And yeah, I'll check in with you later. Really excited about this. Thank you, Mandy. Okay, that's CYO. Hi everyone, just checking in with you. It's been 3.5 hours since I put this foundation on and I am gobsmacked. Normally, I think you'll have noticed from the review that I did of the Laura Mercier, you'd have noticed that my nose the foundation starts to come off my nose. I've had my glasses on. Not as much as, like, I've not been out since I've had this on, but nevertheless, it's still in place on my nose. It doesn't feel slidey. Now, I did do a bit of baking, but even so, my chin, my cheeks, it's not coming off on my hands. And the eyeshadow, look at the eyeshadow. It's not budged. Now, these are both drugstore products. I am amazed. And I'm loving this foundation. Really loving it. I mean, look at it. You cannot see my pigmentation at all. It's not popping through. It's just, and it just feels like it's not budged. I'm very, very happy. And I will be recommending this to some of my family. Anyway, the only thing I've touched up is the lipstick, which, you know, this is a normal lipstick. It's not a super long lasting one, and I've eaten. So, and that's Daniel Sandler's, but I still think I love his lipstick, but it's not like a liquid lipstick, so it's not going to last while you eat. Anyway, but that's it. Nothing else has been touched up, and I am amazed. So, and my eyes have been watering, I meant to say. My eyes have been watering, you can see they're watering. I've got an eyelash there. Look. Eyes have been watering, not budged. Looking good. I'll catch up with you again in another couple of hours. Okay. Hi everyone, just doing a final check-in. Still looking good. Come off a bit my nose, but I've just been and had a lie down, and I have been rubbing my face quite a bit. But it's not feeling, my nose is not feeling oily at all. And look at my eyeshadow. My eyes have been watering a little bit and they're starting to get dry now. But this has now been on for 8 hours. So I'm going to take it off, but I am very impressed with this foundation. And it doesn't seem to be settling into fine lines. It's dried out a bit under my eyes. I think it has a tendency to dry out a little bit because it helps when you've got oily patches. So under my eyes is perhaps a little bit dry, but then they dry anyway. I just think this is great, and I'm going to be trying it over the next week, and I'm very impressed. All right, catch up with you very soon for the live. Hi folks, you asked me to give you an update about CYO. So I've been looking it up, and CYO brand I think started in the States because it says we now ship outside the USA. So it is available in Walmart and other stores in the USA. And it's available in the UK in Boots alone. I did contact the company because it said if you're interested, contact us via Instagram, but they haven't answered me yet to find out if it's available in Australia. So if I get a reply, I will let you all know. Okay, and you wanted to find out about how many shades of foundation, so I'm just going to check that and I'll be right back. Okay, they have 15 shades of the foundation. It comes in yellow, neutral and pink undertones, except there's only 3 neutral ones. So and they're the first 2 lightest shades and 1 very dark shade, 114. So if you're neutral medium, then you're out of luck. You've got to pick pink or yellow. But as you can see, the one that is listed for me that I got, 1110, is pink, and I should be yellow. So it's not too much of a problem if you need to get the right shade and you haven't got the right undertone. All right, so that's the information. If you've got any other questions, do let me know. And I did promise I'd give you this extra information on my live today. So thanks for watching and see you very soon. Bye-bye.